Do you read me?
Be advised, you are coming in weak and unreadable.
Say again, Com Tower. This is Pacho. Do you read me? Over.
Pacho, this is Contower. I read you Lima Charlie.
Com Tower. Com Tower. Request permission to launch and commence the field op. Over.
Stand by. Pacho, permission granted. Say again, permission granted.
Roger that. Launching podcast in 3, 2. You are now entering the field op with your host, Pacho Correa, Chief Warrant Officer 3, United States Marine Corps retired. Get some. Hurrah! Get some. Hurrah! What's going on, everybody? Baby Friday upon us, or Friday's Eve, as I also like to call it. So we got a good show coming today, and post Thanksgiving. But before we get all started, this show is brought to you by Castle Global Services. Castle Global Services has a bunch of many array of different services for your residential, commercial, in regards to the infrastructure, house security systems, electricity. Depending on the state, they also sell utilities and merchant services. If you're trying to process credit cards and within your business and you want lower rates, go ahead and check them out. One of the great products that they have both on the residential or commercial side is Impact, which is it's medical care for your companies. And because this provider they use, it's actually a nonprofit organization. It's not an it doesn't have it doesn't get your monies like a regular insurance company is, where they invest your money, whether you want to or not. They're able to give much lower fees, and you can be able to insure your family for a much lower rate. And if you are an employer, you can actually get some tax benefits. So go ahead and check them out and give them a call. All right. So with that being said, and this show is also brought to you by the great US of A and the American Constitution. So hey, just with that being said, if you like what you hear, stick around. Let's have a chat. Pop some comments into on the comments box. Hey, if you want to come onto the show, hey, throw the comment in there. We might be able to just link you in, and we could just have a good chat about the topic, whatever it may be. But nonetheless, if you like the show, stick around, like and follow, subscribe, and refer me to your friends and family as well. Help me build the analytics for the show and grow it from my 3 very faithful followers onto something not as big as Joe Rogan, but hey, that would be nice. If you don't like the show, then go ahead and check something out from sitchradio.com. They got a bunch array of really cool stuff in there. I podcast that is one of my favorite ones, and Todd DeBow, as well as one of my fellow combat buddies, Aaron Chief Siebert. He's got a pretty cool show as well. A little bit more serious than this one, but he's got a really good story to tell. So, and we'll see what's up. Anyways, getting back to the real show. So today's show, I don't know if you saw the posting on Facebook or Instagram and such about the name of the show. I put the little poop or little shit emoji. I don't know how in this day and age where everything is pretty much being censored. Hashtag politics. I'm in and I'm out. I don't know. So I just didn't want to chance it. Calling what it is. But why is hard? Why is this for us sometimes so hard to just let shit go? I was kind of thinking about that this week. Just some personal things have happened, and like I said, I've always been pretty transparent with you all on the show. Being a civilian, I remember as a young troop, I used to, and I'm a PSEPper, prior service or prior separation. PSEPper is just a term that we used to call guys who came in, got out, and came back in. So I'm one of them dudes. Anyways, I remember when I was in the Marine Corps, in my first enlistment, or even hearing, young service members as well, they would say, man, I cannot wait to get out and basically, tell my boss to go fuck themselves. And, hey, the civilian life is where it's at and blah, 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 because obviously we have a rank structure. You can't tell your staff NCO, IC, or your officer, your OIC, your officer in charge, things like that. and hell, fuck, even as an officer myself, probably some of my troops, man, I cannot wait to get rid of this dude. But let me tell you, hey, we all got to answer to somebody. Because it was great being it was great being enlisted, being a staff NCO, but I answered to somebody else. Another staff NCO that was sometimes higher than mine, sometimes the sergeant major. And I'm sure that a lot of you here have your, run-ins with your senior leadership, whether it's officer or enlisted. And even as an officer, I had to answer to somebody. You know what I mean? So, and I'm pretty sure that those officers, they have to, the higher you go, you answer to somebody, and whether you like it or not, you know what I'm saying. So everybody gets what I'm getting at. So same thing in the private sector. Yeah, maybe the only difference is that you could tell that boss to go fuck themselves, but now you're a pretty, you told them what to, where to go, you told them what to do, but now you're an employee. Not that I say that that's my case. I'm just giving you an example that, hey, those are the things that, because we kind of make up these movies in our head as to, uh, this is what I'm gonna do. If, man, I cannot wait for this person to talk, trash to me, blah blah blah, whatever, right? So we just make those movies. So kind of what I'm getting, what I'm getting at is that, whether it's in the military or it's in the private sector, you're always going to have to answer to somebody. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're you're in business for yourself, which I have been in business for myself. I'm still in business for myself. Now I just do it on my off time, and I'm trying to scale back again to go back to being. But nonetheless, you're just answering to yourself. So, figure that out if that makes sense to you. But you know what I think know what I'm getting at. So, anyways, so I'm at work, and it just is, it can be really difficult, especially if you're working with individuals that, and it doesn't mean you don't have, when you're a boss or a manager. I've been, in my industry, and when I've had some of my guests that participate in the industry, like Mr. Russell Levy, and I've had other safety guys on the show talk about their experience. I mean, I've been a director. I've been up and down the chain, both in the private and in the Marine Corps. So the point I'm trying to get at is that we all have to answer to somebody. Hell, sometimes the company. When I was a warrant officer, in Iraq, I worked next to a lieutenant. He was a company commander. I was the XO. Either way, the first lieutenant, he was the boss. So yeah, I may have a little bit more experience to some degree, but nonetheless, because of the rank designation and whatever, he's the boss. He's the man on a hot seat. Shit goes wrong, he's the one. He or she is the one who's going to eat that sandwich. Okay, so it doesn't really matter who you're answering to. So as long as that individual has a vision, can provide guidance, and you see what I'm saying. So I just kind of been dealing with this in the private sector, where it's just really frustrating when it doesn't matter, who's sitting on there, but there has to be some type of structure or vision, and when everything is a fire, it just you're constantly switching focus, excuse me, as to where you're going, what you're doing. It just makes that environment just a little bit rough, to say the least, right? So that's kind of like, and so it just, I find myself building this, this movie in my head, and just kind of, whereas I should just, what, I'm only one person. Instead of just letting shit go, you just kind of find yourself, and a lot of us, and I'm not using the PTSD card, or just those of us who have some type of, trauma or whatever, or those of us who are just chronic ruminators. In other words, we just kind of marinate on shit, and before you know it, you just kind of like end up in a bad place. It's kind of like the joke where, Joe's going over next door to borrow the lawnmower, and he's, "Oh, I'm gonna go borrow, Mike's lawnmower." But what if Mike needs it? What if, if, hey, no, I'm using it right now, and now I can't use it, and I just saw this thing. I said, what if he gets upset, because I've borrowed a couple of things before from him, and he just said, "No, you know what, you borrow way too much, whatever." Or, what if he just gets pissed off and he just, and doesn't like bar because, he thinks I'm bugging him or whatever. So by the time you get to the door, you say, you know what, keep your goddamn lawnmower. And Mike is just sitting there like, hey, what just happened? See what I'm saying? So, some of us, those chronic ruminators, we just do that type of shit. Or, if you encounter trauma, we just kind of sometimes, or by the nature of the type of job that we've done, we always gravitate, or always, it's much easier to think, again, it's just, the worst outcome, right? Because that's what we do as service members and people who've been, in combat. We need to be able to in order to some degree to try to control the situation. We always need to think worst case scenario. What is it? Just it's a survival skill that helps us, mitigate risk. And while you're out there kicking doors, snooping and pooping, all that good shit. But in the private sector, in the civilian, back here, when you're just out of white picket fence, somewhere in the great old US of A neighborhood, that doesn't play out too well, right? So to some degree, there's no need for it. Yeah, there may be the situation, but you're not out there kicking doors and whatever. So again, we tend to do the whole worst case scenario thing, and we just find ourselves kind of doing that. So I've done that in the past, and it's kind of bit me. It's not bit me in the ass to some degree, but it's just it's much easier to just always, man, same thing like I'm, what I'm going through in my job is just, it can make the environment really difficult. And sometimes it's just we are our own worst enemies. So, you know, and just to use an example, when I was stationed in Japan. This is right before the earthquake tsunami happened. There was an individual over there from one of the other shops, and I just try to keep it as generic as possible, so that way, who knows? I just don't want to, name people and whatever. They may be hearing the show, and they may be saying, "Hey, man, this guy, I used to work with this guy. He's really cool. We should listen to the show." And then now I just, you know. Anyways, I used to work with this individual, and we did not see eye to eye on a lot of things, to the point where, I mean, it was well known, because again, it's a small command. And because basically we used to host all the units that were coming in. So it was it's smaller than the INI staff or AGR permanent personnel at a reserve duty station. I mean, it was just a handful of us. Anyways, but it was known that this dude and I, and we, to some degree, we try to make it, the work relationship, we try to make it as okay as possible, and this at all. And it was, and the worst thing is that this person lived 3 or 4 doors from, in front of my room. So it's just like, fuck, I gotta see, not only do I gotta see this guy at work, I gotta see him, in my, at my home. And off duty, the guy would, sometimes like, hey, Pacho, blah blah, whatever. And in my head, I'm like, fuck off, whatever, dude. Don't even talk to me. So, you know, but I would just ruminate on this, man, let this motherfucker say something to me today. Today's the day, whatever. But at work, I mean, we used to bump heads all the time. So it just, you know, I allowed this because probably this dude wouldn't even think, l- lose a bat or lose any sleep or bat a fucking eye, about me off duty. I'm pretty sure. But so sometimes it just I allowed this just because he was just being living. I allowed it to get at me in my head, and kind of that's so. I was thinking about that this week, and when I was putting the show together, and I was like, I said, you know what, I think this would be a good topic. And I'm sure a lot of you have done the same thing. We just play this movie, and we allow these individuals to just kind of get in under our skin, and it by no to some degree, maybe on the if it's on a professional level, that you have to deal with it with individuals like that. And where we need to realize, you know and I'm telling you, I've moved from job. I've moved from different positions, different organizations, And there is always one person. There's always one. They're gonna get it under your skin. They're gonna get and whether it's your boss or somebody else, just there's always one person. There's always one individual. So I think the self realization, which is the hard part, because again, it's much easier to live whether in the past or in the future, kind of ruminating or going back and forth than being in the present, just self realizing, hey, you know what? Excuse me, I'm just one individual. I'm just, I'm doing what I need to do, and everything is temporary because it is. Everything is temporary. People come and go. People, whether your time is temporary at that organization, whatever the case may be, it's just a passage in time. If that makes sense. So this week I was just kind of, really, because again, it's just been a little bit difficult to the point where, I've had to escalate things, on the admin side. But nonetheless, uh, it's just like, man, how is this possible? Blah blah, whatever the case may be. So I was just like, you know what? There is a process. I'm going to utilize it, and that's another thing that you need to realize, folks. Especially if there's anybody here transitioning or whether it's first enlistment or whatever, or getting out, is there are resources out there and things that you can do you know, that they'll advocate for you because they're, you know, human resources, whatever. I mean, they're there for the employee. So use those things. It's not, again, nothing is in marriage. We're in the Marine Corps. Again, in my case, I'm saying Marine Corps, but in the service, you got to a command, you're there for 2-3 years, whatever, whether it sucks or not, the CO blows, doesn't matter. You're there. So, there are advocates and things that you can do. And I think the service has gotten a whole lot better as well for in regards to the climate of that unit. We all remember the climate surveys. So, we just have to be able to be mindful. Again, that's the difficult part. But even if you realize, like, hey, you know what, I'm ruminating, I'm letting this person get under my skin. Uh, I can't, that self realization. That's a huge step, and that's kind of what I did. I said, you know what, um, I'm allowing this person, because it was kind of getting in my on my personal life here at home, where I just kind of, I found myself a couple times just not sulking, but just like, oh, I can't believe this shit, me, and it's okay. It's okay to do that, but self realization is important because that way it allows you, once you realize it, like, okay, let me do something else. I don't need to be thinking about this trash. And then when you get up in the morning, don't do like a lot of us tend to do. Again, when I say a lot of us, I'm putting myself in that category. Because you determine what kind of day you're going to have. It's not um, that individual or whatever, because again, you can choose to and allow it for them to uh, make it a shitty day or make it a good day. I mean, it's ultimately up to you. So, when I get up in the mornings, and I just say, it's gonna be a great day. I take this one from my wife. God bless her soul. She has a huge. One thing that I can say about her is that she has this keen ability to find the positive in anything, in every situation, or and so I've learned a lot from her in that aspect, and also from therapy. I mean, shout out to my shrink. But I just said, hey, it's gonna be a great day. I'll leave. I even do 3 things that I'm thankful for, even right after I wake up. Hey, thanks for this bed. Thanks for me not having to piss like 3 or 4 times in the middle of the fucking night. Hey, it's important because I didn't interrupt my sleep. And thanks for my dog who's right there sleeping right next to me on the floor. He's keeping me company, whatever. Um, so, I'm basically, I just, say 3 things that I'm thankful for, and studies have shown that if you do that in the morning and even before you go to bed, uh, it promotes better sleep. it also promotes mindfulness in the moment, as well as it changes your mood. So at night it helps you, once you say, hey, I'm thankful for XYZ, blah blah, eh, you know it helps promote sleep, and then in the morning it just helps promote, you will have a much better day. Doesn't mean that that individual shows up, it's not going to piss in, or if they say something stupid, that it's not going to upset you. But again, you can choose to, yes, and it's fine to be upset at that moment, whatever, process it and then just let it go. Or you can choose for it to just kind of marinate and just ruin your entire day. So that's kind of what I've been doing. And I'm seeing individual, my therapist, who, by the way, god damn, this dude is very knowledgeable. You can tell he does a lot of work with service members and PTSD. Dr. Simpson, the guy, he's here in Florida. So the guy is out. He is an outstanding individual. But one good trick that, and I do it, and I do this a lot. And so if there's a situation, or I just want to, just kind of like relax, is I take a deep breath and I close my eyes and I go. I slump my shoulders like that. What I do that, and what's the purpose behind that, is that it actually activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which is basically, your pineal gland and all that stuff. Way in the back, I believe it's like your basically your lizard brain is basically what it does. So the best example and how he used to me, and hopefully I can regurgitate information correctly, is basically, you ever seen and because I see this every night when I go to bed. He goes, hey, you got your service dog. I'm like, yeah, I do. He goes, what does the dog do right before it goes to bed? I'm like, oh, it's the most annoying shit ever. He'll pace around the bed, a couple of times, maybe circle the other way, kind of scratch it, whatever, and then he just plops down. And he just plops down. And sometimes he'll do it again, just because, I don't know, maybe he just didn't like the spot, whatever. It's really annoying. He goes, well, he goes, what they're doing is just, yes, he's trying to relax, but have you noticed that he does this after he plops down? He goes, they do that. I'm like, yeah. And now I'm even more cautious of it when I do it. He goes, well, he's just, that's basically, he's telling himself as, hey, it's time to go to sleep, and I'm safe. There's no threats. I don't gotta bark at shit. There's no squirrels, no nothing. It's I'm here. I'm out. And then before you know it, they're snoring. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much it. And that is exactly it. Watch your dog next time. Do that. I'm telling you. So basically, you're doing the same thing. So what I do right before I go to bed is I take a deep breath as I listen to. And I'm not promoting Calm, but I highly recommend that thing. And if you're gonna get Calm, let me recommend you. So that way, I get a discount on it too, because I have the monthly subscription. But as I listen to my meditation before going to bed, I do that too. I take a deep breath as I'm laying in bed. I take a deep breath, and I just say safe. Because I used to check, every once in a while I still do. I'll still get up, check the doors, walk the fire, my fire watch. But I'll say safe, or and then I'll do it like 3 times, and I'll take the deep breath, exhale, and then I'll say sleep, and sleep, relax, or relax, sleep. I'll do those 3 things, and before I even know it, I just hear my alarm, snooze. I have to snooze my alarm because I'm waking up already. So the shit works. It may not work for you, but I'm telling you that even if I'm having a crappy day in the office, or if just somebody pipes off with some really dumb shit when I'm doing my safety walkthroughs. If those of you who are safety professionals, you know what I'm talking about. I just kind of walk. I'll walk away. I'll take a deep breath, and it immediately relaxes me. You could be sitting in traffic and you can do it. You can do it too. So I encourage. So the challenge for this week, everybody, is I encourage you to try that and do that. As a matter of fact, my cousin down in Colombia, John, eh, eh, dude is lucky to be alive. And when he was riding his motorcycle, a vehicle cut him off and basically and hit him. And I mean, it was a pretty bad accident. They he almost lost his leg, but they were able to save him, save his leg and everything. So he's doing okay. He just had surgery, but um, not really had processed the whole situation, because of the surgery and this and that. So once after surgery, this is like about, because again, we all process things different. About 3 weeks later, after the accident, between the accident and the surgery, he was just sitting at home and the dude had a panic attack, which I'm very common to those. I mean, hell, you could talk to Inland Empire Hospital in Temecula. They knew me on first name basis, but he had a panic attack. He thought that he was having chest pains and everything. And I told him, I was visiting. I'm like, I hear you. I know what that's like. Try this trick. Again, I had just had that week. I had a session with my therapist, and I showed it to him. And a few days later, I was talking. I'm like, hey, how has it been? He goes, dude, it's been like a it's been a blessing, doing that, because I even told other people about it. But he finds it so it worked for him. It's been working for me. So I encourage everybody, give it a try. If you find yourself having it in a difficult situation or just marinating on shit or traffic, just take a deep breath and clear your mind, slump your shoulders. You feel yourself do that. Exhale. Do it a couple of times, but it's been proven, and it does calm you down and relax. But you got to be able to let shit go, because in the end, all that stuff, it just festers. It takes away from the present moment, and all it does is just you're the one creating making the situation, marinating on it, and just being stuck where that. Because again, and this kind of leads to some of the things that Dr. Joe Dispenza, who I've mentioned before on the show, uh, has said about that. We just try, because we have this destination addiction where we place blame or happiness, for that matter, on somewhere, someone, something, whatever. When it all starts right here, people. It all starts right here. So again, we're the ones we can choose to be happy. We can choose to let that situation or that individual or that thing, uh, you know, bother us and marinate on it. Because again, it's just all it is just it's gonna make a shittier time even shittier. Not saying, because hey, even positive people have shitty days. So, but again, they choose if they, well, you know what, whatever. Or and I'll just leave it as this. Well, I do. You guys have heard me when I did my cooking show about how to cook better and using Noom, which is again, I'm not advocating for them, but it's a great app. I've lost like almost over 20 pounds using it. But you got to have an oh well statement, meaning that oh well dot dot dot. Yeah, it's this individual is a pain in the ass, whatever. Oh well, I'm not gonna let them ruin the rest of my day. Or hey, it's raining right now. Oh well, I can go ahead and hang out and Netflix and chill, whatever the fuck. So you could either take the deep breath, have your oh well statement. But again, it all starts with us. So that's kind of what I wanted to share with you all. I hope you guys, had a wonderful Thanksgiving, and that you got to share with your loved ones and be with those specials. And I think hopefully you're not a few too pant sizes too big, because now you're a food blister, because you ate yourself to death and stuff. So the holidays are coming up. Don't forget to exercise a little bit. Indulge, but don't overindulge. But the bottom line is, look, the holidays is not about presents and all that crazy stuff. It's about being with your loved ones, and and not just cherishing them just on the holidays. Is cherishing them and be thankful for them every day, because again, for somebody who's had a lot of loss in his life, um, at least cherishing them every day and telling them you love them and you care for them, on an often basis, would just make things that much better. So, then that being said, folks, we're going to go ahead and end this right here. I just want to thank you for cherishing my show and taking care of me. If you've been ruminating and dealing with just shit and not letting shit go, give me a call. Shoot me a message. Reach out to somebody. There's TRICARE, Military One Source, the VA, the suicide hotline. But the bottom line is that we want you here. Don't do something stupid that I don't want to do 22 push-ups and all the other challenges. I want you here, and at least let me be that last phone call or text message so we can work shit out. So thanks so much, everybody. I'll see you later. Arigato, aishitimasu, daisuki, all that good shit. Hoorah, get some. See you later, everybody. Bye-bye.